like from that morning, I woke up and there was just some vibe in the air that just felt different. And my manager at the time was Rolf Sørensen, who obviously a very good professional bike rider himself. And he came up to me and he said, about an hour and a half before the stage of the race, he came up and said, you know, my dad's been on the phone. He wants to ask me if you know, who to bet for. I said, tell him put €1,000 down on me. And he went, what, to win it? I said, we're not playing for second. So it was like,
what were the odds?
I kind of 80 to 1.
That was a good day.
But then, yeah, the whole run up to it was kind of, you know, weird. Just specific days, like with my masseur, we've been counting down because I hadn't done the race, you know, the 2 previous years. The team was too small or whatever, so I just everything that year was about getting to Roubaix and getting back on the cobblestones. And the my soigneur came out like an hour before as I was leaving the bus to go up and sign on. And it goes, T-minus 1 hour to your day. And I kind of stood and I sort of, yeah. And rolled off and sort of kept on thinking about that and going up to the start line. And then from then on, like, even we had a team meeting about an hour and a half, 2 hours before the race started in the bus. And I mean, Andrea Tafi in there and Fabio Baldato too. Like, they're legends in their own right. And, you know, sitting there and the boss says, look, Tafi, you're with Maggie for the first, you know, however long you can stay there. And Fabio, you've got a bit more of a wild card, but you're still keeping an eye. And they said, you just make sure that you're there with the best guys. And I was thinking, shit, I'm putting everything on me here. All right. You know, this is kind of cool, but at the same time, feeling like, you know, maybe Tafi and Baldato should have had their sort of leaders' roles more than I should. Certainly, if we go into my previous results, they should have, but that was pretty special then, riding around for the first 150k with Andrea right next to me, sort of, he was kind of like that guardian angel, just on my shoulder the whole time, just sitting off the beaten path, letting me ride where I needed to be, but he was always there, just telling me calm down, to stay out of, you know, trouble, what to do next and where to go and all that sort of stuff, and just being there to put a big turn in if we needed to. And he took me onto the first cobblestone section. He helped me on to the forest. Unfortunately, he crashed at the forest then. Lost him, but we got out the other side. And I was kind of, I missed, I got caught behind Dario Pieri. And Rofa was safe with Cannondale at that time. And just got around him with about 200-300 meters to go with the section. And then rode across to the front group again. And I thought, oh, that you know, legs are responding well, go on to the next section, finish that one. And I can remember just going go through the second feed zone. Fabio comes back in and goes, how are you feeling? I said, have a look, because I don't think the mechanic put a chain on my bike today. And he kind of looked at me in that strange way and goes, you sure? I said, look, I haven't touched the pedals yet. It's all right. Look after Musée from PTM and Besseman, and I'll cover everything else and make sure that we get onto the Carrefour and make sure we're there properly. And fair play to him, he covered everything. And I just followed the 3 guys. Whenever anyone tried to do a move, I shut him down, and that was it. And he took everything else. He was in moves, he pulled moves back, and you name it. And he came back almost in panic when we came out of the section before Carrefour, and he said, we've got to go, and took me out on the outside. If you've ever watched Baldato ride a bike, I mean, it's poetry in motion, rock solid on the bike, nothing moves apart from his legs. And at that point, he was all over the bike, putting everything that he could into it, and got me onto that section in Carrefour and on Mussé's wheel. We went across that, and I thought, this is stinging a bit now. This is, you know, really not comfortable. And did the first part of that section, come out, you got that 100 meters of tarmac in between. I'm thinking, look back, shit, there's only four of us, four guys on the wheel, and myself in front, and I was thinking, it was hard, but it wasn't that hard. And he opened up again, and I started taking a few turns, and before we knew it, we'd been out of Carrefour, and it was Cancellara, Hoffman, Roger Hammond, myself, and myself in the front brake. And that final section going across him, the one ride that I was really worried about was myself coming into the velodrome. Roger, I mean, he's a very good friend of mine, and we've lived and trained together, and we've shared a flat up in Belgium for a number of years. I know him inside out, he knows me inside out, so I probably should have been very scared of him, and probably was as well, because we've done enough sprints against each other training. So but when we went across that final section in Hem, you're going from tarmac to tarmac across the cobblestones. I come across, I'm leading across there, I come across and I just see this stone massive flip around it, and just think, if no one catches that one, it's a miracle. And with that, I hear the puncturing like this, that sound going, and I have a quick look around as Mercedes gone, and obviously none of us were really going to sit up and wait for him at that point. It was racing, and I thought to myself, well, that's kind of that saying swings and roundabouts. Because a couple of years before that, I'd punctured 50 metres after that section finished in the running for a podium. So you
said you saw your turn.
Well, like I say, swings and roundabouts, right? You get someone, you give someone, and with that, it was kind of just trying to manoeuvre myself into a position where I had the best opportunity to win. And I thought I was going to go for a long one on the back straight of the velodrome, but Roger Hammond had exactly the same thought. So as soon as I go, Roger goes as well, and I get boxed in on the inside of the velodrome. So at that point, I got Cancellara on the front, Rod just on the outside of him. I'm sort of stuck underneath there with Hoffman on the sort of outside of me as well. And so there's no way, if I was going to back around that whole thing, there's no way I would have gotten around there in time to go up and win it. But something just triggered in my head, like watching all the films, like the old films, any YouTube stuff that I could find, whatever. It's always, and obviously having done a few track races, I thought as soon as Roger goes over the top of Cancellara, he's going to start drifting up to try and take Roger the longer way, which means there's a gap on the inside, and I just had to wait for it and hope that I had my legs to finish it off. And two pedal strokes, that was it.
Nice.
That was it.